to the Undrafted Uncensored cast of Pod. Hosted by Nick Archuleta. Mosted by Colin Zanker. And last but certainly is least, Joseph Goodwin.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Undrafted Uncensored, where, I don't know about you guys, the best part of my week was reliving all the 90s jokes with Norm Macdonald and how he just loved punching O.J. Simpson every week on Weekend Update.
Oh, so good. I love those.
Norm Macdonald was so underrated as the Weekend Update anchor. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the two new guys now, but
it's all SNL has left. SNL is like, it depending on the host, maybe they'll have some good sketches every once in a while, but like it's just skip to Weekend Update and then, watch it on YouTube.
Yeah. It's been an interesting.
That's funny. Actually, last weekend's episode was pretty funny. They had a few good skits, but yeah, it was just like, all right. The only thing I care about, I caught it after Weekend Update had happened, so I had to wait and go back for the next broadcast to rewatch Weekend Update and the start. Last week was decent, but yes, Weekend Update is all that it has because Colin Che and the Jostest with the mostest.
Yeah.
All they try and do. I heard a thing with them talking. They write the jokes for each other to try and get each other to crack.
Yeah,
and it's great because it's always Michael Che getting Colin Jost to try and say some black joke.
Oh yeah,
it's Colin Jost
so racist.
Yes, to make him sound racist, and it's Jost trying to have Michael Che say something terrible about white guys. It's so funny.
That's awesome.
Back and forth.
I was going to make fun of you. I was like, wait, you actually watched SNL? What the fuck?
Yeah.
But that actually sounds great. That sounds like the old SNLs of like Jimmy Fallon was never great on SNL, but every time he broke character and started giggling, it made it funnier. It like you enjoyed that shit more. Like seeing him in the background of Will Ferrell with the cowbell, just unable to keep his composure. Like that's the stuff that the human element of these sketch shows that I feel like is just lost. It feels just so corporate and lame. Like the last funny one I remember was they had Timothy Chalamet on, and it was when Pete Davidson was still there, and they just did like a sad boy rapper thing, and they're just screaming out "Skirt, skirt, yay!" and it was really funny. I enjoyed it a lot, but I saw it on YouTube way after it came out, and But maybe I'm just missing out on some quality Weekend Update goodness. I should watch more of it.
Yeah, Weekend Update's always worth it.
Yeah, it really is always fun. It makes me sad watching newer stuff, bless you, of the SNL and the amount of commercials. Although when they do those fake commercials and they're actually funny, that's perfect. Like it blends in seamlessly and you can't tell.
You can't tell if it's...
Yeah. And then you realize the entire commercial is populated by SNL cast members, and you're like, wait a minute.
You got me again.
You
Joyce. Oh, speaking of got me again, can DU get one more? Can they become the first team in NCAA history to get number 10?
Double digits, the quest for 10.
Michigan's out
for it.
I love it. They have won 3 straight games, 2-1. Something that this team, the highest scoring team in the nation all year long, basically from puck drop to the end of the season, they've been the highest scoring team. This team has changed who they are. Really, they were outscoring teams. I heard, I want to say it was Gabe Levin who was on the call the other day saying, you didn't know how good this team was because they would score 5 or 6 goals early on in the season, but then you were worried about them giving up 7 goals. It was like, are they going to keep the other team to 4 or 5 goals, or are they going to give up 7? I think you guys remember me saying hammer the overs early on in the season because all they were doing was scoring. It didn't matter. It was 7 goals, get the over because that team was scoring a bunch.
And they were going to give up the goals to the other team too.
I remember.
No, I know that
March.
Well,
Where you told me to take the under.
If you the under, yes, there was one in March, but that's when they started to not score, and that's what I was saying.
No,
Like,
that was when they hit the over, though.
I know, but what I'm saying is after February, they stopped scoring all those goals, and Matt Davis in net was looking unbelievable. He's had basically a shutout. The Pioneers scored an own goal on a delayed penalty.
Yeah.
They missed a pass to the guy, and it went off the bank and into the net. So Matt Davis wasn't even in net when he gave up a goal. But technically, it's his goal. So they've changed and become a very good defensive team, and really just stop the pucks.
DU has the one win this year when the two teams met up. It was a 4-3 finale between the two colleges at Boston. So DU's already proven they can beat Boston College, and they can beat Boston College away from Denver.
Yeah, so they can do it in Minneapolis? I want to say, Colin.
Minnesota.
Yeah, it's in St. Paul at the Excel Center.
Okay, so the slightly different city. That's the same city.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other side of the railroad tracks.
The two cities that got so big, they became one city, but they still had to keep the names.
Yeah. Almost like twins. It's weird. They should call them the Twin Cities.
That's crazy. You know what?
You should.
They have a baseball team.
Yeah, they do have the St. Paul Saints.
No, they don't.
I'm excited. The game starts here in a little bit, right?
Yeah, Colin and I both work it, so we're gonna head out probably relatively as soon as we're done recording. I obviously have to leave a lot sooner than Colin. I live about 45 minutes to an hour away.
Yeah, we're probably leaving the same time because I got to get there earlier than you.
That's true. Colin's got more stuff to do. DU wants the premium stuff. Colin's a premium member of our team over at the Fan. I just work there.
You know who else is a premium member? This guy.
Oh, what did he do?
Who finished square in the bracket finally? I'll take my third place finish, by the way.
Hell yeah!
But where did you finish, Colin?
Eliminated
first round.
I know.
Eliminated first round.
But yeah, just because you said it once, you would keep rubbing it in constantly too, Colin.
Yes.
So you don't get to be I already admitted once. Yeah, once is not enough. You do it 5 to 10.
I had to wait for the final game to play through. I didn't even care that Purdue made it at that point. I was like, I don't care. I beat both of you.
Champion of us losers. That is correct.
Yeah.
And that was just a best guess. That wasn't even me putting effort forth.
You know, I think aren't all brackets just best guesses?
Yes.
No.
I mean, and technically, you only beat one of us because I also was better than Joe.
Well, his name was already. Hey, his name's on that list.
Yeah,
it's at the bottom and has 0 points, but he's on there.
Yeah, I'm 24 out of 27, and I'm only beating the 3 people who didn't save their brackets. Phenomenal.
Wait, there's 3 people that I haven't looked because I am not in it. I don't really. Once I'm not in it, I don't care. That there's 3 people that have zeros.
Yep,
that's
the only reason why I'm 24 out of 27. So still not last place, baby.
Fuck yeah, good work, Colin.
Can't put the profit in last.
Yep. If you're not first, you're last. But if you're not last, you're not last.
Yep. So Nick wins the show with what was it?
120,
122, 122.
Yep, show's over.
I think that's where you ended at.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it's still not couldn't be first, but you did it. You beat the both of us, Nick.
Yeah, that's all I cared about.
Yeah. I put
these 3 squares right here are all I care about beating.
It's like, what's the opposite of Hollywood Squares? That's us.
It's us.
I don't know. We're funnier though.
Alex, my brother. Nick, you ended with 120. Alex and Andre got first and second.
I thought Alex was your cousin.
I think it's my brother-in-law, Alex, and Jonah, the chef. I don't know who the hell Andre is, but we'll see.
Thanks, Andre.
Yeah, Andre in second, and then
the double
Jonah,
entendres.
Jonah fourth, my chef at the Marriott, and Alejandro, Alex from the station fifth. Rounds out the
Yeah.
top five.
Nice.
My guy.
Oh man, David, my best friend growing up, is kicking himself for picking Purdue. So that was an ass whooping. UConn. They've been done. I don't know.
That was bell to bell this year. That was UConn. It was UConn's year. It was bell to bell. That it was going to be their year. I started watching that championship game and I was done after like halfway through the first.
What little thought I did put into it when I was just considering what I was going to do, it was like, should I just fucking send UConn and then just kind of not worry about the rest, or like pick a troll team or whatever? I probably would have just picked a troll team, but just picking UConn because it's UConn seemed like a decent idea anyway. So who knows? But I did that randomized one and it picked Houston as the winner. So I was watching that just for fun. But yeah, nope, didn't work out at all.
You did pick a troll team. You picked Duke.
That's right. The Duke blue trolls. That's all they are. There's a bunch of blue trolls, you know.
And then Caitlin Clark couldn't quite pull it off. Iowa can't quite make it, so they end up losing to
the Cox beat the Hawks.
Yes, South Carolina.
It's the University of South Carolina. It's USC, right?
The Gamecocks.
Yep. Yeah, I chose the Gamecocks to win that game, and victory formation.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
I don't remember. I don't think I did. I might have. I don't think I did though.
You guys both picked Iowa.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I picked Iowa too.
But surprisingly enough, I didn't know this. The odds were heavily in South Carolina's favor, like heavily, like minus 300.
Really?
Oh, really? I didn't even look at it.
And I think it was some of those things that were shown for
they were more complete
Caitlin Clark, that she had been kind of stifled for a little bit, and teams had not shut her down.
Found ways to get annoyed, make her annoyed.
Yeah, but they were having trouble in some games where she wasn't just going off. And South Carolina was just a better team. I mean, I didn't know it. I've watched more women's college basketball this year than I had in past years, but I still didn't know that South Carolina was that much better to be a minus 300 favorite over Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, just because we watched more of it this year doesn't mean that we actually followed it closely enough to know, who was very good and not. It was just like, oh, cool, here we go. This will be a fun game to watch, which is kind of the first step of giving a shit about any, particular sports league. I mean,
there were no like massive upsets. There were no legit buzzer beaters. I know CU had that one shot that sent them to the next round, but it wasn't quite a buzzer beater. I mean, it was kind of a standard tournament that it pretty much played itself out like it should.
Well, that's what I wish there was a buzzer beater. I had a bet on that. There wasn't one, which is weird.
Yeah.
I'm going to cough.
There it is.
Sorry, guys. I'm getting sick. I had to leave work early yesterday, so
we'll stop.
I got to
food.
Hope it holds off for a few more hours because I got a little bit of talking to do.
There you go. You have to do all the extra highlights and everything for the new game. Is that going to be on HD3 or are you just going to be doing that on?
No, I'll be in the fan. It's in the
That's
fan.
what I thought. Yeah. Cool. All right. Word. I was saying because I could do a simulcast easily too if there's not all.
No, you have to do the Westwood One broadcast.
Yeah.
Required for the station.
That makes sense.
But yeah,
you stick, man. But yeah, no, that's not going to work out.
No, unfortunately, it's not because they have their own ads and blah blah. They have a lot of different stuff. But
no.
The one thing that I kind of hated was kind of what we talked about last week. I had said, hey, like, watch out, like Caitlin Clark, when you go to the next level, it's a whole new ball game. And then you had all these WNBA players shitting on Caitlin Clark after that game.
Oh,
like that was kind of lowbrow.
Yeah,
picking someone while they're down. It was the total opposite of what Charles Barkley did at the end of the game.
Oh, dude, Sir Charles is amazing.
Yeah, to the players.
Yeah.
It was just like
Christian crab hat in the frame.
You saw a bunch of WNBA players, and there was probably more support, but the ones that got the news, unfortunately, are the ones who came out and were talking shit to Caitlin Clark about like, oh, wait till you get to the next level. It's really going to be tough for you. That sucked. That pissed me off because you have a chance to, you want to compete, you want to be better, but you also need to grow your brand. And sometimes in order to grow your brand, whether you like the attention someone is getting or not, you have got to accept that and promote it, because now you're saying how Caitlin Clark is going to be no good at the next level. Like, what's the
bullshit?
I mean, what's the point in watching if she's going to be no good if all you're going to do is like push her out of this club?
Yeah,
before she's even in it. It was a bad look on the WNBA.
Mike Trout's wearing her jersey, dude.
Yeah, like come on.
Mike Trout walked into Anaheim the other night wearing a Caitlin Clark jersey. You're getting big names, big eyes on your brand, and that's what you've needed. I mean, the WNBA got big when it was because of the names that they had, and they did what they could to sponsor those big names, and we talked about them last week. The game has kind of shrank. And some of it's just because of, again, lack of branding, lack of promotion, maybe even lack of cities. But if you have a chance to bring in a generational star into your league, and the first thing you're going to do is just shit all over her, come on.
Yeah, not a good look.
No.
And that's kind of the attitude that a lot of those players take. I almost just said guys out of habit. But like they have that, like that's what I was kind of saying last week, was depending on how the media covers it, if they cover it from the standpoint that the players have, and maybe it'll just come from the players on Twitter or whatever, but saying that, like, you should be watching us. We are good. We don't need her to elevate our game. It's your fault for not watching. It seems like kind of the standpoint that I hear a lot when it's like, yeah, but it needs to be on more. And ESPN is doing a better job of trying to put some of those news things to the forefront. The next thing is to actually show some of the games somehow. I don't know how you watch WNBA games. I've never gone out and tried to, because again, there's not a team in my city, but that's just a me problem. We can randomly pick a WNBA team to root for it too, just like we did with the UFL. WNBA team draft. Who's your team? We can't have the same one. Fuck you.
I mean, we do have a WNBA weekly pick for a few weeks. You got to remember that.
Yeah,
we should do that. Let's pick some random WNBA teams to root for, for one reason or another. But yeah, man, I hope that they accept her, because I feel like from the WNBA player standpoint, they want her to be another Christian Laettner. They want her to fizzle out. They want to prove that they're the shit, and that the defense and the physicality of the adult women's game is going to kind of stifle and shut down Caitlin Clark. Like what people say if Steph or Dame played in the 90s. But I don't know if it's the opposite and she actually plays well. Like, the league wants to see her succeed for sure, because they want the eyes, they want the money. So the league wants her to succeed. So I'm not sure how good the team she's going to go to is historically, or if they're always terrible. And this is going to be kind of funny that the league savior is going to go to, like, the Detroit Lions of the or Chicago Bears of the WNBA. But it's going to be fun to watch either way. So it'll be cool to see. But yeah, I hope that she doesn't get that much hate from these people, because you definitely see that to an extent. You saw that with the whole Brittany Griner thing. Is there like, why is no one caring enough? If this is an NBA player, you guys would care a whole bunch more, and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, no, this is like country to country politics. Like, it's still very complicated.
You took bad stuff with you to a bad country.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't put it past Putin. Like, fucking Steph Curry would have gone to a gulag too,
Yeah, added him in the center of town.
Right, just because it was, somebody more famous. Yeah.
Caitlin Clark will be playing for the Indiana Fever.
That's right.
They have the number 1 pick.
Yep.
Unless something stupid happens, and then the Los Angeles Sparks can choose her at number 2.
I'm sure
I don't see her going to LA.
That'd be hilarious, though.
The
if
Sparks
LA
have
did some kind of crazy draft day thing or made a move or whatever, and it's like, no, we're bringing her to LA.
the Sparks have 2 out of the top 4 draft picks in this year's draft.
Oh wow!
Would Indiana take that? No, probably not. Because any team would be stupid not to take a generational player like Caitlin Clark like that. Like, come on, you got to do it. Just the money alone that'll bring your franchise.
Yeah.
There's views on it.
And Indiana's a great basketball state, with the Pacers, with
Hoosiers
coming out of there.
Hoosiers.
Was that the college that Bird played for? So I know he was from Indiana. But
yeah, he played at Indiana, right?
Yeah.
Or no?
Okay. I know he was from there. Like, that's where he's from. I don't know what college. I assume he played for a college in Indiana, but like they're good for fucking basketball out there. So in theory, should be a good place for her to go, would be Indiana. But again, I know nothing of that franchise. They could be morons.
Could you imagine, though, moving from Iowa, little small Iowa town, it's a bigger city in Iowa, but you moved to LA? Like the culture shock?
Dude, yeah, if they found a way to get her, yeah, that'd be...
like the culture shock alone, dude.
And she won't end her career, I feel like, in Indiana. She'll probably move around. But who knows? Maybe she's one of those people that just stays forever.
She's a small-town girl.
They build a super team in Indiana.
Living in a lonely world.
Absolutely.
She took the midnight train going anywhere.
That's
right. You know where that train wasn't going?
To the city boy?
To the number 1 seed.
Well, last night, that train wasn't going to the number 1 seed. Thank you very much, Colin.
South Detroit.
Appreciate that. What the hell happened, by the way, last night? Third quarter, they got like Nuggets have a 20-point lead. I'm like, all right, cool. They're going to coast to the end on this one. I don't have anything to worry about. So I'm flipping around, trying to find something else that's not going to be what I think is going to be boring, because once the Nuggets get that big of a lead on San Antonio, it should be just, dribble the ball around a little bit, a couple quick pokes, and, it's a good night. And then I flip it back, and they're up by 2.
Yep.
And then they
the Nuggets thought the same thing you did. They were like, all right, cool. Happened? We're set. We have
3-way tie for first place now. You had first place in your hand, first place in the Western Division, and then you just decided to. I don't even know. They weren't even playing with their food at that point. It was just like
they stopped playing. They stopped playing.
Yeah,
and that was the issue.
Sure.
I mean,
did you guys hear me earlier?
With what?
I was saying some stuff, but it was a delay. I think it was on my end. I was hoping it wasn't. Okay, cool. I was starting to say something, but then there was a weird delay, so I kind of just stopped. I wanted to make sure I didn't just talk
we heard
the
you.
whole time Nick was talking.
But yeah, the Nuggets had seen the Spurs come back on them too. In the game that Joe and I went to, the Spurs came back and they just stopped with 25 points up, and they didn't put the foot on the neck of the Spurs to finish that game, which is unfortunate that you let them come back. But also, this is one of those losses that you can look at, hopefully, and say, well, this team knows they can get beat by anybody, and you have to play to the end. The game's 48 minutes. Go the whole time.
Yeah. Well, and Jamal should have been more astute to what was going on too, because when you have 0.9 of a second, you have Joker in front of you, and the official is literally standing next to you at eye level, counting the 5 seconds. You got to make a decision quick. You gotta know what you're gonna do, and I understand he was.
And you gotta play defense,
waiting for somebody to get in position, but as that 4th second rings out, you got to just try and get it in Joker's hand.
Yeah, now the Nuggets' fate is in everyone else's hands, but I'm still not as worried. Yeah, I wish the Nuggets would be playing somebody out of a play-in game. obviously they can still get the 1 seed, but it's going to take some work. But they're most likely facing the Pelicans as it stands.
Yeah. And, I mean, who knows if Zion's going to play, too.
Or how many
He'll
games.
play.
Or how many games, yeah. I mean,
yeah, that's true. But he'll definitely play. The Pelicans, they're solid, but I like that matchup. The Pelicans are definitely tall. They're a Vance Joseph style team for sure. But the Nuggets are also very tall. Brandon Ingram's a very tall, small forward. So is Michael Porter Jr. Ingram's a way better defender than Porter is. But, Porter still tries, gets rebounds. Gordon on Zion, that's going to be a fun matchup for sure. And then the center, Valanciunas, doesn't play a ton of minutes, but he's always very good when he's in there. And then classic Nuggets villain, CJ McCollum over there at guard, just being an asshole, shooting threes. I heard someone say that CJ McCollum is the best player in the NBA to never make an All-Star game, and I feel like that's offensive to Jamal Murray. So I'm excited to see Jamal. Aaron Gordon's made an All-Star game before.
No, I thought he was just in the dunk competition.
No, he was with Orlando. He was an All-Star.
Yeah, with Orlando.
Oh, that's right. My bad. You guys are right.
Yeah, no, I think it's just once, maybe twice, but yeah, he's made it. Not with the Nuggets because we don't get to have All-Stars besides Jokic. It's in their contract apparently.
Right.
But I'm cool with that matchup. But like I said weeks ago, I'm cool with every matchup. I'm excited to beat everybody. I would have enjoyed to play a play-in team, especially Golden State, because we didn't get that option last year to beat that team that we've never beaten before. But whatever. I'm happy to beat anybody.
And I mean, the way it's set up right now is that the Nuggets, if the Nuggets win their series, and then Oklahoma City wins theirs, that'll be your second round matchup. So that would be fun, and I think it's definitely one, like I said, of the teams in the West that I'm afraid of. Or more nervous about it would just be Minnesota, just because that team is built to try and beat the Nuggets. But the Nuggets split with them this year. I know Oklahoma City went 3-1 against the Nuggets, but I'm still just not as worried about those guys in the playoffs because we saw it with the Nuggets. It takes some experience to know what those games are like. And so, yeah, I mean, bring them on. I think that this was going to be a wake-up call and that they really just they play Memphis on Sunday. And I don't think Memphis has anything that they have nothing to counteract what the Nuggets are going to do to them on Sunday.
Yeah, no, it's just barring another colossal collapse. They should be able to win that game. Knock on wood.
Fire up the Jokic triple-double.
Hell yeah. Go for it. Or at the end of the day, the Nuggets could say, just fuck it. We're going to sit a lot of our stars and just let the chips fall where they may. And we should still be able to beat Memphis. Those M teams, they all blend together. And see what happens and just say, fuck it. I could see that too. But I can't really see Malone doing that. He just, he's calling timeouts when the team is up by, ridiculous amounts. And, you see him and like Tom Thibodeau doing similar stuff like that. And that's why I like Malone. He's more of an old school guy. He cares about winning. So you're probably right. They probably will give a shit. So yeah, fire up that triple double. But you could see other teams taking the opposite approach too and just not caring about it. Just, saying, all right, whatever, one game left. We're opting for health. We'll be the 2 or 3 seed. You're still not going to beat us.
And thanks everybody that's tuned in right now, whatever you're watching us on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it is. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your mom's friends. Tell
your mom's friends' moms.
We're friends.
Yeah, I mean, for the Nuggets, all the games that matter are happening at the same time on Sunday, so they won't know where they are. So I think they have to play, especially. I mean, Joey said, yeah, some coaches might rest their guys, but not after a loss like that. That's not Malone's style. Not after blowing that type of lead. He's gonna make a point to these guys, and he's gonna force them to play whether they like it or not. This will be another Jokic in there fouling himself out on purpose with like 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter when the Nuggets are up by 20. That's really what it's going to be. That's what he wants to see. I don't think do you guys remember that game where Jokic basically fouled himself out?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Malone was fine with it, but he wanted to prove his point. And he did prove his point to Jokic last year.
Yeah.
With that, like, you're going to stay, you're going to play this whole game, and we're going to finish this thing off. And Jokic wasn't happy about it. We all saw it. He wasn't happy about being in there, but the point came across. And I think that after a loss like that, Malone's point should be even louder. Much like I was talking about with my student earlier, where it's like, I'm not BSing you about this stuff. Like, this stuff takes time. I'm not lying to you. And you don't believe me, and you want to, I'm not lying about how long some things take. And Malone's not lying about what it takes to win a championship, and you can't take that time off. So it's sometimes you just have to let players think they know what's best. And then be like, all right, now it's back to listening. Now it's time to go back to paying attention to where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, he's not one to let them just coast into the playoffs. And after performing like that yesterday, against the team you should have walked all over, and it should have just been the bench cleaning up the mess at the end of the fourth quarter. But, it is what it is. These guys, I think, got a little too excited after the performance that Swatson and Brown gave the other night.
Yeah.
That I think they just felt like they owned the world at that point, and the Spurs showed them that you can't just walk into any venue and just expect to win. People are gonna play you, and when you're still the defending champion, you still have that target on your back, even this far into the season where you have one game left.
If you want to coast into the playoffs, you have to earn it. You have to win those games. You needed to win that game against the Spurs, so you could not give a shit against Memphis. Although I think you still needed to win both, but you could be much more chill against Memphis than against the Spurs. Like that, especially because the division win thing, I don't think Memphis is in the same division, so that win means more for tiebreaker shit. But you, like Nick said, you can't coast your way into the playoffs like that. You can't just expect to win games. One does not simply win an NBA basketball game. It's not that easy.
Yeah, last year you were in the right to coast in the playoffs. This year you haven't.
Yeah, exactly. And the records are very similar from last year to this year. It's just the West has elevated its game now to where you were. The Warriors have, I think, the same record, and they're barely in the play-in when they were the 6th seed last year. So shit's getting real. So it takes a lot, but you still have to have that mindset. You have to get better too, because they're not going to stop getting better. So you can't stop. Otherwise they catch up,
Yeah. Last year was kind of a historically low, do you guys remember talking about this at the overall number winning, of winning teams, the number one seed wasn't as high as in previous years. I mean, Nuggets were at 55, and typically there's a 60 plus win team. And so, it's close this year, but maybe that just means there's more parity. Yeah. But the seeds in the NBA, the amount of wins that it took to get that one seed, the Nuggets could have easily gotten to 60. I know there were injuries last year at the end of the season, and there were games that they just didn't play. But looking back at recent history,
so early too.
And that's what I'm saying. They coasted through the end of it, but in recent history for the NBA, there wasn't that high of a win total. It wasn't even a high win total for the West.
Yeah, I just pulled up the bracket right now. The playoffs started today. Kings and Warriors would face off 9 and 10. The Suns and Lakers would face off 8 and 7. The winner of the Kings Warriors would play the loser of Lakers Suns. Winner of Lakers Suns goes to play the T-Wolves. Winner of 9-10 and 7-8 goes up to play the Thunder. Clippers and Mavs, Nuggets and Pels. On the other side, Bulls and Hawks are 9 and 10. Sixers and Heat are 7 and 8.
I love that.
Winner of Sixers and Heat goes on to play Milwaukee. 9-10, 7-8 goes up to play the 63-win Boston Celtics.
That one's so sad because both those teams suck. The Bulls and the Hawks. They don't care. So,
So what you're saying is the Heat and the Sixers are going to win?
I think so, but if either of them manage to get that one off, like if the Bulls get a win and then have to go play Boston, like it's just that's going to be
Wolves have
such a
39 wins. The Hawks have 36.
Yeah, like the Hawks are injury ridden, and they weren't that good when they were healthy anyway. Like they were never going to be a contender. They need to get rid of Clinton Capella because they just extended Onyeka Okongwu. They got to figure out what the hell they're doing with their backcourt because you could argue that neither Trae Young nor DeJounte Murray is the answer. But they're probably going to stick with Trae and trade DeJounte. But who knows, man? Anything could happen with them. That's a fun little aspect of it. But no, that West play-in tournament, that's going to be great. I can't wait for that.
The rest of the way down, Cavs and Mavs, or let's try that again. Cavs and Magic, Knicks and Pacers.
And that's going to be a fun one too, because the Knicks are the epitome of defense in the NBA, and the Pacers just score and don't play defense. So that's going to be really fun to see, the unstoppable force versus the immovable object.
Is what's his name back for the Knicks?
Julius Randle.
Yeah,
I think he is. I'm not sure how 100% he is, but I think I saw him playing.
So I remember there was.
I was watching some stuff.
I know there was a pretty bad injury. Yeah. This is saying Julius Randle's injury could cost him a spot on Knicks roster.
Okay.
He's still out with a dislocated right shoulder.
Ooh, no bueno.
Yeah. So I don't know. If they don't have Julius Randle, that series is definitely not as fun as
advertised.
Oh yeah. So because they were kind of playing. This was 3 hours ago. Posted from Adam Taylor at Yard Barker.
No, I was looking at Mitchell Robinson. My bad. I was looking at a different guy when I was watching the Knicks game the other day. So yeah, Randall's still out, but Randall's been very inconsistent too. Like him being gone almost just forces them into that uber defensive kind of mentality. So I'm a little bit okay with that actually for them.
No,
I felt like they were going to trade Randall at the trade deadline or something this year anyway, because we knew they were going to make a big trade at some point to mix up the status quo that they had, and they got OG Anunoby to just come play more defense.
I was going to say, but then you would get a guy in his place, and right now you don't have anyone nearly as talented as him. Like we talked about it with the Nuggets, he's one of their stars, and you don't win a championship without your stars. Yeah,
to an extent, he's kind of like the at least the past couple of years in the playoffs, he's been the nightmare version of Michael Porter Jr. for the Knicks, where he's not hitting shots and he's not doing things and he's not contributing in other ways too.
Yeah. But you'd rather have him there than not.
We're going to move on to the Avs, who have a game in hand on Dallas after pushing themselves into the third spot in the Western Conference now. They take care of business tonight. They can look pretty good because they have a game in hand on Dallas, and they play Edmonton tonight, Winnipeg, who is the other team above them right now. And the Avs right now, in my opinion, need all the help they can get. And if they can get at least the second spot, I would be happy. Again, both teams have a game in hand on Dallas, though. So if you beat Winnipeg tonight, you can obviously leapfrog them. And you have 2 games left. And those will be against Vegas tomorrow and then Edmonton on Thursday. Ooh, that's a long layoff.
Well, and watch out. Vegas just got their long-term IR guy back.
Of course they did. Why wouldn't they?
Yeah, Stone is back. Look at that. So they got their full roster and full complement of weapons coming back, ready for their playoff push. Because the playoffs are clinched in the NHL, so it's all about seeding also, or at least in the West. The East, there's still there's 5 teams still in play for the playoffs out East. So the West is all set as far as who's in, who's out this year. And it's about seeding. Yeah, the Avs can catch the Stars with 3 games, but probably not. They have to beat the Jets tonight.
Yes.
That's the biggest key.
It's afternoon, actually.
Oh, it's a matinee?
It's an afternoon game, yeah. It's today's the Brotherhood for the Fallen game, but I can't go tonight.
So yeah, you got to beat Winnipeg. You got to put yourself in the driver's maybe the passenger seat. I guess what that would be, because Dallas is still in the driver's seat.
Just
You
ride
put yourself in the
shotgun,
passenger seat. Yeah, you're riding.
You can
shotgun.
shift for us. We'll drive. You can shift. I'll tell you when to shift.
The Avs control the radio.
We've
There you
all
go.
seen that movie where the driver gets shot and the guy in the passenger seat has to like push his dead body out of the car and move over.
Yes.
You know.
Hopefully that's Dallas in the first round.
Yeah.
Yes, another Dallas shooting.
Do you have a cassette adapter for my iPod?
Who's got the cord? Yeah, the Avs do control their destiny too, in a way. 1 or 2 seed, I think that obviously we know it doesn't matter. They won the Stanley Cup with having the two not being the best team in the NHL.
Which that's all you need apparently anyway.
No,
Yeah.
you don't want to be the number 1 seed. If you're the 1 seed, you're going to lose for sure.
And right now that's Dallas, so that's it's good luck is on the Avs side right now.
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, Captain was skating the other day, not quite fully involved in drills, but I mean he's hitting pucks, he's passing the puck, he's doing drills with the guys. He's just not doing contact and anything like that. So, I mean, there's still a likelihood you could get the captain back in time for a deeper part of the playoff run. I'm not saying I want it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to have him back. Don't get me wrong, but I also don't want him to rush back too much. Also, it's been 2 years since he skated.
Yeah.
And 2 years away from hockey, and you're dropping yourself in the playoffs. I mean, they brought McCarr up and threw him in the playoffs pretty much right away.
Well, yeah, but he had just gotten done playing for the University of Massachusetts. He still had his legs, and he was playing playoff hockey in the NCAA. Landeskog hasn't been playing any sort of hockey at all, and you're going to ask him to come in during a Western Conference Finals or Stanley Cup Finals. I don't think. Did you see what you said? Skating with the guy? Did you see him skating with the guys? All I saw was him solo skating.
No, he was. I was at an altitude, and Grismer went out to the open skate, and he was saying that the captain was out there with the team doing some drills.
Okay, because the only things I saw was him skating alone.
Unless I misunderstood what Grizz said.
The video I saw was him skating alone. I'm not saying that that's wrong. I just didn't see a video of him skating with the guys. That's the only thing I was saying. So if he is being around the guys, that is a good thing, because at least you're getting. Sometimes you don't know how fast or slow you're going until you're comparing it to someone else.
Yeah. And this team's fast.
So him being out there with the other guys, that's a good thing. Yes. I don't know if he can.
There's no need to rush him.
Yeah. I'd love to see him back, but only if he's ready, because we don't want to see a shell of himself on the ice.
You don't want to see Shaq in a Cavs jersey out there on the ice.
No.
Yeah.
It's like the playoff series against the Warriors a couple years ago for the Nuggets. You really didn't want to see Jamal Murray come back because it wasn't going to be right. Like, would that have helped? Yeah. Was he not Facu Campazzo? Yeah, he's not. Which helps. But like, there was no way that was actually going to fix the problem. And if he re-aggravates that injury in any way, it costs the Nuggets a title the next year.
Well, that, or what I was going to say is, like, if Gabe not re-aggravates anything, but if Gabe isn't as good, if he can't do the things that he needs to on the ice, and he costs the Avs points or goals or anything, because he's a liability just because he doesn't have his ice legs back. Like, it's a big possibility
this year. Yeah, absolutely.
No, we'll see. Playoffs will start here in a couple weeks. The Avs got the game this afternoon. I believe it's a 4. And then they have tomorrow against the Golden Knights. A few days off, then they play again Thursday. So good luck, Avs. Good luck,
2
Nuggets.
today.
Is it 2 o'clock? So just about an hour. All right, heading on real quick. So I'm still going to try to be nice.
Why?
The Rockies aren't the worst team in the MLB. Thank you,
Okay.
Chicago White Sox. Just saying.
They never
And
are.
KB
They
has
just
more home
feel like
runs.
they're the worst.
Hey, Chris Bryant has more home runs than Nolan Arenado right now too.
That's
Okay.
awesome. All right, we'll keep that watch up. How many did he hit in spring training, Chris Bryant?
3.
Has he eclipsed that yet?
Not yet. He's one
Okay.
away from that.
Okay, those are the 2 watches. It's Chris Bryant regular season versus spring training, and the battle we all expected, Chris Bryant versus Nolan Arenado for home runs.
Yes, home runs.
Yes. So real quick, I just want to touch on
Yeah.
this before we jump into.
And then
The
it'll be
victory
Russell
formation.
Wilson bathrooms.
I try not to be a conspiracy theorist. I try to give people benefit of the doubt.
Why?
For a long time, I have been in a profession where people lie to you a lot. People lie to you a lot.
It doesn't make any
And
sense.
I usually tell those people that I'm asking you questions that I may or may not know the answers to already. So the more truthful you are, the quicker this goes.
Yeah.
How does a man steal $16 million from another man, and not once in 2 years does the victim check his bank account and go, something doesn't seem right?
That's what I said. I was like, there's no
Something
way
is amiss.
this guy would have that kind of access to the guy's bank account. He's an interpreter. He's
Well,
not
and
gonna
there
know
was a good point
fucking
raised, though.
bank
If,
passwords. He's
let's say
not
it's
gonna-
KeyBank, though. KeyBank calls up and says, hey, Mr. Otani, we need to speak to you about your bank account problem. There's $2 million that was just drafted from your account. Hang on, no speak English. And he hands the phone over to his translator. Dude's got free reign right there.
I'm sure KeyBank has branches in Japan. His bank would be Japanese, I would assume. So they'll speak
Not if he's being paid by the Angels.
Japanese to an extent. Like, I guess, but I don't know, man. There's still, he's not going to know the passwords to his bank accounts because there'd be no reason
Unless
for
he
him.
tells him to because he doesn't understand English.
No, I don't think so. I
Dude,
think he would,
the
I mean, he would
Latino
have an
guys
assistant. He
do a
would
lot of
have
that too.
I feel like he would have a financial guy for that. I feel like the interpreter is not the guy that would have that kind of access. Maybe he fucked up and that's the case, but like, I don't know, man. This assumes a lot of there's a lot of jumping to conclusions. You're gonna need one of those mats from Office Space.
But
it's kind of like all the conclusions you had to jump to say that O.J. Simpson didn't do. Never mind.
I mean, I talked about this the other week, guys. The interpreter was with him all of the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's easy for you to gain access to these things if you're with someone all the time. And no, I think Nick is on the right path because, yeah, when someone calls from the bank asking questions, Otani isn't going to answer because they probably don't have in America someone ready that speaks Japanese immediately. I mean, sometimes it's hard enough when you're calling 800 numbers for anything to get someone who speaks clear enough English.
Yeah, but this is Shohei Otani. You think the bank isn't going to make sure they have someone to talk to?
But they don't know Shohei Otani from fucking Bill Gates or freaking Stan Kroenke. They don't know. Not everybody follows sports and knows who the hell Shohei Otani is.
Yeah.
All they see is a name and their numbers on their account. Like these bankers aren't, who might be calling for this aren't knowing exactly who this person is. But even then, yeah, they might have a translator for him, but they probably, because Shohei put so much trust in his translator, he never worried about it. When I was making a ton of money in my early 20s, I never cared about where my money was going. I wouldn't care about what was going on with the bills.
As long as it was there, yeah.
I just gave my card and it was paid. Like, I wasn't worried about that. And I wasn't making millions of dollars. I was only making over $100,000 a year at that point.
So you were giving people your PIN?
So I was just, here, run to the store and buy stuff.
Word.
Like, yeah, I just give my debit card to my receptionist. Hey, can you pay this bill? Like, I was never worried about that stuff. I didn't care because I had the money. Yeah, it was stupid. I mean, I'm not saying it was smart. I'm not saying what Otani did was good,
No.
But it's easy to fall into that because you trust these people enough that they're, he's with them all the time.
And he kind of had to at that point too. I mean, he's helping him through a cultural shift. He's helping him with a new job, a new place to live. I mean, there's so much going on in the world of Shohei Ohtani coming over from Japan that you have to have that one person you trust. And, it sucks that it happened the way it did. But at the same time, too, I mean, he's kind of, it teaches us all we got to be a little more responsible with what we do with ourselves, too, and our finances, because, sometimes we get a little carried away, too. Like you said, Colin, even like, if you're in a relationship with someone, but you're not married yet, and it's like, hey, I need to run to the store real quick. Okay, well, I'm doing this. Go do what you do. Not quite the same level, but along varying levels. You're just trusting somebody else with your money.
I mean, so I just looked up Shohei Ohtani's net worth is, oh, never mind. That's his contract, $700 million. I thought I had something else. But either way, let's just say I don't know why his net worth is not showing up anywhere. But $700 million, I mean, if you break that down to losing $13 million, that's like us having $100 and losing $1.50.
It says his net worth is $50 million.
That can't be right either.
Yeah.
Well, he hasn't been paid the rest of his $700 million though either.
You know what? I guess that's technically true.
No, he hasn't, but I don't know.
There's no way it's 50 though. Yeah.
Because of all the money he gets from, and now I'm seeing 20 million. I don't know, but I'm seeing different numbers. But either way, let's say you think you have you have 700 million, you're counting on that, whatever. And you lose 13 million of it. Like I said, that's like the equivalent to losing $1 out of $100.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, whatever. It's like, oh, I'm going to buy a scratch ticket. Who cares?
Speaking of losing dollars.
Oh,
Colin.
Speaking of losing dollars.
I love doing that.
This is the victory formation.
All right, boys, here we go. Best play in football. 6 right tight diamond victory on 1. Break.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, let's jam.
The Pick'em segment, proving that Colin Zanker is the most humble man in the history of time. Least. Featuring Nick Archuleta, wishing he was somewhere else. And Joe Goodwin, just kind of winging it.
That's right. We are in the victory formation to wrap this puppy up. And losing money, that would be definitely up Colin's, up my wheelhouse here recently. As, did not do so good. I'll wrap up the ones from 2 weeks ago. We had the Brahmas and Showboats. It looked like the Showboats were going to win. And then the Brahmas won at the last second. So Joe and Nick got that right at minus 130. They both won 1769. We move on to last week's picks. The Roughnecks got defeated by the Defenders. Nick and Joe both chose the Defenders. We all chose the Go Texas Rangers when we should have said Astros to the moon, and they got defeated. We all chose the Wolfpack, but they got boiled in the Final Four by Purdue. Alabama lost to UConn, obviously. Nick and Joe chose that one correct. If you're following, that's 5 straight losses for Colin. The only one that I got right was South Carolina beating Iowa at minus 300 for this week. But that means basically out of the 2 weeks combined total, I was 2-7.
Sick.
Not so good.
That's a little rough.
Nick, you
Not
won.
nice.
You won 4 out of 5. 4. You went 4 and 5.
4 out of 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, 4 and 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 9.
Yes, 1, 4 out of 9, and then Joe, you won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You went 5 and 4. 5 wins, 4 losses.
Ooh.
So the totals: Joe, big winner this week, winning 50. These 2 weeks, winning 55-22, and you're still in first place at 345-56. Nick, with your $9.30 win over the last 2 weeks, you move up to second with 211.21. With my minus $40.79, I drop down to 203.29. And third. Let's move on to this week's picks.
Let's move on.
We start things with the Sunday night baseball game. Padres, Dodgers. Nick, who you got?
God, I hate the Dodgers. I hate the Padres, but I hate the Dodgers. Dodgers are good. Give me the Dodgers.
Nick is taking the Dodgers. Joe, who you got?
I mean, yeah, it feels not great, but it's the Dodgers, so I'll take them.
I am also taking them, so you know what that means. We swept it. The Dodgers are going to lose.
You know what that means? Padres are winning.
We move on to the Sunday afternoon UFL game. We got the St. Louis Battlehawks versus San Antonio Brahmas, who no longer have a YouTube sensation kicker. Joe, who you got?
I mean, obviously we're taking the Brahmas here. That's my guys. But what happened with the kicker? I don't think I saw this.
He broke his neck.
That'll do it.
How does a kicker break his neck?
He had to make a tackle.
Kickers aren't allowed to kick. Or a tackle, I mean.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I'm taking San Antonio. They'll figure it out.
He's got the Brahmas. I am taking the Battlehawks.
That's probably smart.
I don't know, because they're the Battlehawks and
Cuckoo!
I like beer snakes. Nick, who you got?
They did me good last time, so I'm sticking with the Brahmas.
All right, we move on to the one basketball game Sunday that I think is actually evenly matched. That I could really pick. It is the Mavericks versus the Thunder. This game has implications for the Nuggets too, of course. If the Thunder lose and the Nuggets win, they're obviously secure in the number 2 seed. The Mavericks can also move up one spot in the standings. Let me make sure I am saying this right as I look it up real quick one more time. No, that's NCAA. I don't care about NCAA. NBA
it's over.
standings. With this, yeah, so Dallas can overtake the Clippers possibly with a win and move into the 4th seed. So
then that would change up the matchup. So then Dallas would play the Clippers.
It would change up the matchups completely.
But
they would be at home, which is a big deal.
That's big deal for them, for sure.
I am going to keep things off, and I am going to say I am taking the Mavericks and everyone's new favorite MVP this season in Luka Doncic. Joe.
Damn it, you took my joke.
Nick, who you got?
Took my joke. I'm going to still go with Dallas, but took my MVP joke away.
Joe, who you got?
Oh man, that's tough. I was thinking Dallas, but every time we go together, it's bad. So
That's
just for the sake of doing something different, but I want to take the team I'm rooting for, so I can root for both. Because I want Dallas to win, so the Nuggets can secure that seed above OKC.
If you want the Mavericks, I'll take Thunder. I don't care.
No, it's fine. I'll take the Thunder. Let's do it. Let's take my guy, Lou Dort. Also, if you're watching on Instagram, here in about a minute, it's going to kick you off and switch.
Because we're done, and that wraps up the victory formation.
So, okay, cool. Sick. Then I guess
as we head to everything, we'll see what happens next week.
I thought there was more.
That's what she said.
That's
obviously not a grower.
Oh, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you, E5280 Sports, for hosting us. We love you guys. Thanks everybody that continues to watch us and listen to us, and come on and argue with us one of these times. We like arguing too. Yeah. We're really nice. We just frustrating sometimes, probably.
That's not true, but you can come argue with us if you want.
And also, thank you to our other sponsors, Pike Peak Sports Cards. Appreciate you guys as well. Don't forget to tune in to all the other shows on E5280 Sports, The Wheelhouse, Between the Lines, Gridiron Intel. Anything you want to get out there. There's blogs, there's YouTube videos, there's fun stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's us, Colin Zanker, Joe Goodwin, and Nick Archuleta. We
Thank
are
you
the
for
Undrafted
visiting
and the
Krusty
Uncensored.
Krab.
Until next week. Bye.
You can argue, but I'm always right.
I love how Nick like waves, but does something like he's grabbing.